Hey friends, welcome to another video. Achu Munifo Brandon here. So lack of self-confidence is one of the major things that will limit your ability to show your potentialities to the world. And people who suffer from self-confidence often find themselves like they're in this dark hole, which makes it seem like it's impossible for them to get out. But I'm telling you that's not true, because I was one of those people, but I managed to get myself out of that situation. So if you were like me and want to get out of that dark hole and shine your light bright to the world, then this is the right video for you, because I'll be sharing some tricks and technique I used to make myself really confident. So please make sure you watch the video right up to the end, like the video, and share the video to help someone gain some self-confidence today. First, let's start by defining what is self-confidence. If you search the word on Google, it's defined as the feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. The key words here are ability, qualities, trust, and judgment. So for you to say you're confident in yourself, you must be able to know yourself, you must be able to believe in yourself and act on those beliefs, which is like trusting yourself. Now, with all that said, it's time to answer the big question: how do we improve our self-confidence? Before I get into that, I want us to know that people suffer the lack of self-confidence in different aspects of life. Some lack the self-confidence in their jobs, some in their relationships, some people lack self-confidence at school. But what I'll be sharing in this video is a general perspective, at least, which will help you build self-confidence in every aspect of your life. The first thing I did was acknowledge the fact that there was a problem. There was something missing, because I realized there was never a way I could solve a problem if I don't know the problem existed in the first place. The reason why I'm saying this is because growing up as a kid, I was the tallest among other kids at my age group, and around the age of 15, I was already like 6 feet tall, which is like 1 meter 90. And I was not just tall, I was so skinny as well. And I realized that was what was giving me this lack of self-confidence in every aspect of my life. But I was not born this way. I used to be a very bold kid until the time I started growing so tall. And I did not love the experience at all, because I would not want to be among people. I would not want to play with my mates. I would not want to go out to party with my friends. So I told myself there must be a way I can get out of this dark hole and shine my light bright to the world. That was when I started doing some research and applying the things I learned from those research into my life. Again, you first of all have to know the source of your low self-esteem before you can start tackling it. The second thing I did was I decided not to be mean to myself, but rather say positive things to myself, because I realized it doesn't really matter what people say about you. It doesn't matter what the world say about you. But what was killing me the most was when I get back home, the thoughts I say and I believe about myself, those were the things killing me. Those were the things really lowering my self-esteem. So I realized it was really important to mind the things I said to myself. And believe me, this is really a difficult thing to do, but I tried to do it anyway. Even though I was really ashamed to look myself in the mirror, I went ahead, I tried to develop the courage to do it. And each time I got the courage to stand in front of the mirror and say something to myself, and I would look to myself and I tell myself, hey, Brandon, you might be a tall kid now, but that does not make you different from any other kid out there. Because I am smart, I am handsome, I am intelligent like any other kid. I know God created me this way for a purpose. One thing I will not do is to stop searching for that purpose in which I was created and use it as an advantage to make myself better. And the more I kept doing this, it became a habit to me. Even if when I'm walking and I pass a place and there's a reflection of myself, I just glance and I tell myself, always remember, you are a rare species of human being and you are nothing but the best. The more I did this, I realized I had this great shift of mindset, because I do not care anymore about whatever thing a person is saying to me, but I cared a lot about the things I said to myself and how I react and believe today. So I want you to know that no matter how you are looking, you are a special human being. If you don't like the way you're looking, and if there is something you can do to change the way you look, great, go ahead, change it. But if there is nothing you can do to change the way you look, then what you should do is look for every opportunity to use your appearance, your shape, your form, your factor as an advantage to make yourself better. Let's say you've gained a lot of weight and you've tried everything to lose weight, you just can't lose the weight. Instead of you spending your time online admiring skinny people with a skinny shape, and wishing to be like these people, in which deep in your mind, you know it's nearly impossible or difficult to become these people. Instead, if you want to admire people, go online, search for people who are facing the same challenges you're facing, who have the same disabilities you have. You will realize there are people that are using those things as an advantage to make their lives better online, and also educating other people on how to handle such a situation. Try to learn from these people and apply those things to yourself. Because again, I'm telling you, you are a very rare species of human being. Every form and factor in which you were made was created for a purpose. So make sure you go out there, try to find the purpose for which you were created. Use it as an advantage to make your life better. The third thing I did was I realized I needed to work on myself. Some work needs to be done, so I started doing the work. For instance, one of the reasons why I was lacking self-confidence was because of my body. I was not proud of the way I looked. I was so skinny. And I know for me to start being proud of myself, I need to gain a little bit of muscles, because I would not want to pull off my shirt and you see my rib bones spreading everywhere on my body. So I started by doing 30 push-ups daily, and I was doing this. After a while, every Sunday, I would run for about 3 miles and I work out for about 2 hours. The more I did this, I started gaining a little bit of muscle, and I realized the more I gained muscle, I began to feel confidence about myself. Because sometimes a lot of us don't really like the way we look. And we know there is something we can do to change that, but we don't want to do the work. We don't just want to do it. Even if we want to do the work, sometimes we don't have that willpower to be consistent about it. Guess what? If you're not happy about the way you look, and deep in you, you know you can do something to change it, but you are not doing that work, I bet you will be feeling worse, because you will not only suffer from a lack of self-confidence, you might actually start feeling depressed. So please, save yourself the stress, and do the necessary work, and then you will thank yourself later. The fourth thing I focused on was self-care, especially in the aspect of dressing. Well, I'm always good at taking care of myself, like having a decent haircut, taking a good shower, keeping your nails clean, looking good. But for some reason, I always neglected the aspect of dressing well. It doesn't have to be an expensive dress. No. Just make sure whatever you are putting on your body should be fitting. It should look good. Because this will really help in building your self-esteem. Let's take, for instance, you are invited to a party and you go into the party, everyone is dressed in a classic way. They have tuxedos, they have this amazing suit on. But you are the only guy in that party with a short pant and a tank top. I bet you this will affect your ability to mingle with others, because you will feel shy. You will feel like you are not up to that standard. You will not be, you will not be comfortable seeing yourself the way you are dressed among other people. So, with that said, each time you are invited for a party, no matter what kind of party it is, always try to do a research about that party and try to come up with a dressing standard that will match your appearance with every other person in that occasion, that will make you feel confident about yourself. The fifth thing I did is I decided to always be the one to make the first move. For instance, let's say we are in a gathering where there are a lot of people. I took it as a responsibility for myself to always spot someone, a stranger I don't know, walk up to them first, being either a male or a female, talk to them and try to know a little bit about their life. And I was doing this because I was really lacking the confidence to talk to people, especially when it comes to women. Because I used to imagine how awkward it was going to be with a very tall guy standing in front of a lady trying to ask her out for a date, and you are that tall, and the lady has to raise the head up so high just to maintain eye contact or listening with you, or sometimes you have to be ducking down just to talk to the lady. So each time I play that scene in my head, it always looked awkward to me. But I decided to, challenge myself and take away that feeling from my body, from me anyway. So it came a time where I said, okay, each day when I go out, I would try to talk to 3 ladies, and not just talk to them, I would try to ask their contacts. I was embarrassed a lot of time, I was rejected a lot of time, but I did not give up. I kept doing it over and over. And I realized the more I was doing it, the more I became confident to approach a lady. It was easy for them to talk to me. And now I'm telling you, I can tell you, I feel so confident I can talk to any person, being it a male or a female. It doesn't matter if I have known you for long or I'm meeting you the first time. I'm so confident I could walk up to any person and talk to. The sixth thing I did was to study and improve my skills. When I was in the high school, each time I was going in to write an exam, I always have this confidence I am going to pass this exam because I always study so hard for my exam to an extent that if I'm getting into the exam hall, I know for sure this exam I'm going to pass it because I know every question I will be asked, I will have an idea about it. I might not be able to answer all the questions right, but I'll be able to get majority of the questions. And same things also apply when I got out of school and I started looking for jobs. Each time I'm getting ready for an interview, I always study the company. I try to know who the recruiter is and I study the recruiter as well. And when I'm getting in for the interview, because of the study that I have spent the time doing, I am filled with a lot of confidence because I know there is nothing the recruiter will ask related to that field that I will not be able to give an answer to. And with that level of self-confidence, you're already a step ahead to getting your new job. So what gave me all this self-confidence was because I studied. One of the things that make people to lack this self-confidence in themselves is the lack of knowledge. They want to do something, but they don't have any knowledge about that thing, and they don't want to study to get the knowledge. So they are getting there, and they are afraid, they are scared, their self-esteem is so low, and they find themselves trembling, especially when it comes to doing their jobs. And this does not only end at the level of the interview. Even when I get a job, when we are faced with a situation that needs the employee's input, I always make sure I step up. I do whatever research it takes to solve that problem. And in that way, I was not only building my self-confidence, I realized I was also giving other people the ability to always have confidence in me. The seventh and the last point in this video is stop judging people. Stop judging people. If you're that kind of a person that goes around looking at people's shoes, looking at people's hairstyle, looking at how people are dressed, and you start making fun of them and laughing with your friends, you better stop it because this is going to affect you. I will tell you what, I was doing this a lot of times, and I will go around and look those things on people and make fun, and me and my friends would laugh. So it became a time where if I see somebody looking at me, I would just know there is something wrong with me, and I began to feel uncomfortable. I began to feel like there is something not just right. Why? Because each time I always look at people, I always look at the bad things. So if somebody is looking at me, I tend to anticipate that they are looking at the bad things as well. And this was not only making me uncomfortable about myself, but I was not sure about what somebody thinks when the person is looking at me. So if you're that kind of person that judge people, please stop it because that is also going to play a role in lowering your self-esteem. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video to help someone build their self-confidence today. God bless you.